This regularly scheduled meeting of the Vestavia Hills Board of Education will come to order. The first item is the approval of the agenda, which is displayed on the screen. Do we have a motion to approve? So moved. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Second item is to approve the minutes from our last meeting, which were socialized beforehand. We had a chance to review. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted? So moved. Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Dr. Freeman.
Right, got several fun recognitions to do tonight from some very fantastic students and staff. I want to start with Coach Bridget Mehta, who's here. We're going to talk fast because she's got soccer practice. Bridget was recently recognized as the regional and state soccer coach of the year. Congratulations. 4-0 to start the season,
Right.
is that right? And we've got Trustful coming up.
Yes, sir, tomorrow.
All right. What do you think about the team
I
this
think
year?
we'll do well this year. I always have high aspirations. So when we get complete buy-in, and that's what we do, I think that anything happens.
We knew she was good, which is great, in fact, but then she's been recognized at regional state level, so that speaks very loudly. So congratulations, thanks for coming, appreciate it.
Have a good weekend.
Dr. Burgess continues to add to accolades on his wall as being a supporter of the performing arts. And recently, the Thespian Festival was held at Vestavia Hills High School, and Dr. Burgess was honored as the Alabama Educator Theater Association Administrator of the Year. Congratulations.
We were honored to have the festival at our school this year, and we plan to host it again next year. But we had over 1,200 students on campus from across the state, so we're excited about that. But our kids do a lot of great things, as you're about to see tonight, and we love supporting them, and that's easy. They make it easy.
Yeah, one of the many crown jewels of our system are our performing arts programs, and we saw a great one yesterday. And
Sure did.
the theater is no exception to that, and it doesn't happen, I can assure you, it doesn't happen without the support of the principal. No way. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yep.
All right. Sam, come up here. Let me get you to stand on the whole thing. Sam Raj is with us this evening. Come on over here. And Sam and I met each other a couple of months ago as I went by congratulating him because he was the district spelling bee winner this year. Congratulations. So the word that you won with was recompense, and so let's hear it.
RECOMPENSE.
There you go. Sam is a student at Central, and he is a fifth grade student at Central, going to be moving to sixth grade next year. That's exciting. Marion? Yeah. Okay. Go good. Sorry. Any positive words, things you want to say?
Yes, absolutely. Mary and I are so proud of you. He is a super student. We're so thankful for his parental support. And you know, last year he got close to winning it last year, so we're so excited that he came back this year and he kept, pushing forward, and that just shows his determination. So we're super proud.
Yeah, we have not had a winner in just a few years, is that right?
A few years, that's correct.
Sam has stepped up to the plate. Got state competition coming up. So proud of you. Congratulations. This is Coach Todd Evans, and he coaches a lot of things at the high school. Among those is bowling.
Yes.
And the last 2 years we have been finalists in bowling, and we finished up runner-up each year. But this year we broke through on a dramatic finish to the match that afternoon and won the state championship in boys bowling. So I want to congratulate you, but I want you to call all your team up here and then we'll congratulate them all at one time.
Come on up here, guys. Let me just tell them who they are.
Yeah.
So real quick, this is Reese Merritt. This is Nick Watts, Rizwan Khan, Walter Reed, Cam Monaster, Bo Reed, Jacob Pillatieri, and the legend Boris Luke. We have a good mixture of guys on this team. It was a good year. they set a goal. They were kind of upset last year when things didn't happen. But this is a community championship. The people at Vestavia Bowl were great for us. Our parents handle all the logistics. I never had to worry about a meal during the day or anything like that. They handled it. We actually have 3 guys on this team that will receive academic scholarships. Some of them are probably good in spelling bees, so if you want to take up bowling. And then we have our first scholarship offer, which happened this last weekend with Bo Reed receiving an offer to Spring Hill College. And then today getting another offer on top of that from Bethel up in Indiana. So we're very excited about that. But it's been a great year, but we couldn't do it. These guys will tell you, I always told them to earn it. We eat at nice places. We go to a great school. Our practice facility is 2 miles from our front doorstep. They know how lucky they are. They know how blessed they are. But this really, I get reminded of this a lot. This really wouldn't be possible. My wife I'm sending one to Tennessee in football. We've got a pitcher going to Jacksonville State, Bo Reed. They were all in the same 2nd grade class, and that was my wife. So she says it's really not our athletic department. It's her. But this has been a great year. We were on Rick and Bubba last week. The guys got to be on a national radio show. They're getting a lot of accolades, but I can honestly say I told them to earn it, and they've earned every bit of it. And they are a product of this community, and I'm just so proud of them.
Coach, team, congratulations.
You're the voice of us. Okay. There you go.
We have one more recognition we'll do in a few minutes. Mr. Donaldson's going to do as part of his career tech education report. Guys, you are welcome to stay. I'd love for you to stay. If you need to go practice or be studying. I did give Sam a heads up. I was going to ask him to
That's
stay.
good.
So he's ready.
I'm just glad you didn't ask us to spell. I've got my money on Lisa if it comes down to the board member spelling bee.
All right. Mike Donaldson, our career technical education director, among other things like director of personnel, is going to share with us some information. I wanted to make sure that you're apprised each year of the work we do in career technical education. So we've got a report to deliver to you. Mike, thank
I do. Got a brief 32-minute presentation. Dr. Freeman, I was really hoping when you asked Sam to spell that, he was going to ask you for the language boards.
I did look up the definition.
Okay, I want to seriously, a brief presentation on the, just update you, everyone on the career technical education of Vestavia Hill City Schools. We actually chose this time frame because February is Career and Technical Education Month, Awareness Month. So you may know that, you may not. I know a lot of our programs will do various activities this month to bring awareness to their programs and to career tech. As far as the scope of career technical education in our schools, currently we have over 30 courses, and these are offered in our 3 secondary schools. We have 10 certified career tech instructors, and they currently have over 1,200 students enrolled in those programs. And of those 1,200 students, approximately 300 of those are going to earn a career tech credential. Those are industry certified credentials this year. And those are credentials are what we really strive for. That's where you get the worth out of your programs, when you can really see that they've earned those. The only course in particular I'm really going to talk about is career prep. We know it as career prep, it's career preparedness. And the main reason I'm going to talk about this is because we hear it often, and maybe a lot of people really don't understand what career prep is, why the students are taking that. But, sorry, Whit.
Sorry.
But it is required by the State Department of Education for every student. And career prep focuses on 3 integrated areas of instruction, and those being academic planning and career development, financial literacy, which I think, and the next would be technology skills. And I think that we would all agree that our students are in need of instruction, all the instruction they can get in all these areas. I know I hear that middle and financial literacy, I hear that all the time. If you're on social media and all, well, our kids really need to know how to do a budget. They need to know how to balance a checkbook. Well, they probably do, because we're teaching that in our schools. One added benefit I'd like to say as far as career prep in Vestavia Hill City Schools, we offer, the majority of our kids will have the opportunity to get a Microsoft Office Specialist certification through this course. And that is a state and industry recognized certification too. We find that very helpful in that a lot of our kids will come back and say that I'm really glad I got that specialist certification because it enabled me to skip a computer class or whatever in college. So that's beneficial to our college students as well as those going out and seeking the careers too. They just got that those skill sets in the Microsoft Office suite. Currently, our CTE programs are listed up here. I'm not going to read down through there on all of them. I do want to make some notes though. As far as our programs and the way we choose what we offer as far as our programs and our courses go, we typically, we're going to look at the career interest inventories of our students, because all of our students complete career interest inventories, and we're going to combine that information with workforce data that's provided by our Region 4 workforce here. What jobs are needed? What's the outlook, and so forth. And that's how we make our programmatic decisions. We'll say a couple of things on the horizon here. In the marketing class, we have a sports entertainment marketing course that we're offering next year. And this year, Morgan Jones, who is our marketing instructor and also does the VNN lab, she was able, in conjunction with the athletic department, those students are doing some broadcasts of our sporting events, and they're going to step that up a little bit next year, and we're going to do that through the sports entertainment and marketing course. Information technology, I think, Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, we offered AP computer science in that program this year, and that was the first time that's been over in the career tech side, and glad that we can offer those advanced placement courses. Drafting and design technology, we have, I think next year we're going to offer a couple of additional architectural classes in there. Health science, we've had our health science program going for 2 or 3 years. It's been very popular, very successful. It's had a sports medicine theme to it, and we're going to continue on with that, but in addition, we're going to also offer some courses that are going to be more congruent to the nursing side of that. And again, that goes back to our workforce data, the needs of our community. Family and consumer science, that's currently offered in the 8th grade at our middle schools, and that's an exploratory course at this time. In the near future, we're probably going to expand those up into the high school, and it will not look like what that exploratory course looks like. Again, referring back to our interest inventory and that workforce data, it's probably going to go more towards an educational training or early childhood development programs, and those fall under the umbrella of family and consumer sciences. Of course, cooperative education, Dr. Essex over that, he's here with us this evening, and that is where our students actually go out and they work on the job sites, they're supervised and evaluated, and they do this for credit, and most of the time for pay as well. Academy of Craft Training, we're going to talk, I'm just going to skip through that, and we're going to talk more about that at the end of the presentation. There's, some of you may or may not be familiar with that, but we're going to speak more on that soon. Now, project-based learning has been the cornerstone of career and technical education since its inception. It's all about hands-on labs and putting to practice what you've learned. And I've got a couple of slides here that are just photos of students doing their thing, and I'm going to scroll through those, and you take a look, because that's, I'd a lot rather look at these pictures of these students than hear me talk. Now, as I was scrolling through, I came across this interesting photo of hands-on learning, and I noticed some of our students have a little bit of age on them. But then when I looked, what did I do there, Wes?
What did you do?
You want me to touch something else to make it go away?
Oh,
It went away.
Okay, so, and then I realized, well, those are three of our assistant principals in the health science class. Continuing that learning, you know, we are lifelong learners. I even like Miss Dressback. She's really practicing what she preaches. You see this peer instruction going on. I think that young man's giving her some guidance there. And then, you know, the more I thought about this, I think the reality sunk in. This is more like, I can remember, I'm old, so I remember when my kids got that Nintendo game for Christmas, and after a couple of hours, I shoved them out of the way where I could play. I think this is really what's happening here. So, but anyway, we're glad that our administrators can take such an interest in what our students are doing. Career Tech student organizations, and these, I've got the symbols for the 4 organizations up here that our Career Tech programs are affiliated with. Student organizations are an integral part of all Career Tech programs. In fact, all programs are required to belong to one of those organizations. And the following reasons, they help develop leadership skills. They'll give the students an opportunity to grow and develop skills outside of that classroom and lab. And CTSOs provide the opportunity for our students to compete on regional, state, and national levels. And speaking of competition, CT is no different than all of our other programs in Vestavia Hill City Schools. They follow that tradition of excellence as well. And we've got a few photos up here just to demonstrate some of the awards and accolades that they get. I'll point to this center photo. That's a new one. I think this last weekend, that's our HOSHA, our Health Science affiliated club. We've got some state winners there in their respective competitions, and I'm sure we'll get them in front of the board for some individual recognition before too long. I mentioned the Academy of Craft Training earlier. Well, the Academy of Craft Training is actually a partnership between the construction industry and the State Department of Alabama. It actually came to fruition in the 2016-17 school year when the construction industry said, hey, we got to have some help. We're having a hard time finding skilled workers. And so they formed this partnership. And with this partnership, it serves over 20 school systems now in the Birmingham area. Also, one other thing about it, the unique thing about the partnership is that industry provides the instructors. So they're experts in their fields. They're not necessarily certified teachers. And then the State Department of Education provides the oversight and administration for that. So it's really worked well over the last 3 years. One thing that I really like about the Academy of Craft Training, they utilize a simulated workplace model. And if you don't know what that is, that's like when the students, it's basically, that's their job. They interview to get in. When they go into the classrooms, they clock in, they clock out. Their number of absences are limited. They're on point systems as far as wearing their personal protective equipment and all that. It's just very, very similar to the job site. The areas of instruction at the Academy of Craft Training are building construction, electrical, HVAC, masonry, and welding. And this is just a good point to segue in. In following the simulated workplace model, they also have Employees of the Month at the Academy of Craft Training for each of these individual areas of instruction. And so this year, we've had 3 of these Employees of the Month, and we're going to recognize them this evening. I think 2 of them may not be with us. Is David with us? Okay, David. But we've got Dwayne White. He was the Employee of the Month for September in masonry. He couldn't be with us. We got Martez White. He was the Building Construction Employee of the Month in November, and this was Martez's 2nd time. He also got Employee of the Month last year as well, so that's very commendable. But David is in welding. He received also in September. He received Employee of the Month. Will you come on up, David? Let everybody take a look at you. So what do you think? You liking the the welding program down there?
Oh yeah, I love it there. They do great. All the instructors are awesome. They do their job like they're supposed to. The stuff they teach there is awesome in every trade, like you said, electrical, welding. Welding, I personally came across it on YouTube videos, so that's how I decided to do it. But I love it. It's awesome. And they do one employee of the month every Friday.
Right, and I know that I went down last year at the end of the year when they have like an awards day down there, but their awards day is more like college recruiting. You'll have the individual industries will get up there and they'll call up the employees that they've offered a job to, and it's a really cool thing to know that they're getting this kind of training. You also are going to get credentialed in welding too, which is a great thing. You also get the OSHA certification as well. So it's actually a great idea. The way to pool resources, and it's been really good for our community down there. But anyway, David, congratulations on And lastly, does anybody have any questions? Okay.
So can a student take an individualized could you take just welding, or do you have to take the whole
Oh no,
program?
it is individualized. You would take just one area because the way that works, you're down there for what, like a 2-hour block, David? So in welding, David is going to receive 2 full credits for his welding, and he's going to get an embedded career math credit as well. All of those courses, because of the math, embedded math, they'll get a career math credit in addition. Yeah.
It is a great model.
It is. I'd love for it to expand to other areas, and you know, that especially where you've got financial limitations and you can pull those resources.
I think we have 12 this year. Hope we get more down the road, so thank you, I appreciate that. We see a couple of our basketball players out in the audience here. I'm not sure why you're here, but I'm glad you are. I'm glad you came. Sure. Yeah, you had a great season. Our guys made it to the Final 8 this year. Enjoyed watching them play in high school. They're even bigger in person. They represented with class. They played really hard, and I enjoyed watching this year. They're superb ambassadors for our school. Thank you guys for your efforts on that. Good luck moving forward. Okay, I'd like to give you a report on construction today. We have periodically kept you apprised of construction. I believe we did one in November, and we brought you another report in February to keep you apprised of all things construction. Tonight's report does have some significant changes in it. I want to share that with you. And I do want to let you know that after the board meeting, we will provide information to our community, our parents, and staff about the changes that I'm going to speak to you about this evening. Our construction team is with us, our programming team in the back, HBM, and Lathan joined us as well, just answering questions you have. Okay, we're going to first start with an update on the Gresham campus. That, of course, as you know, is the campus where we will be housing our K-5. And I want to reiterate that we will begin the K-5 at Dolly Ridge East and West in August of this coming school year. We are fully prepared. We've already done rezoning. I've got transfer recommendations coming to you in the month of March. The buildings are being prepared and we'll be ready to go. And with that, of course, is that we'll be planning to occupy Dolly Ridge at the same time. I do want to share with you that the weather has certainly played a role in slowing down the progress on this job. We have a contingency plan, Dr. Arundel actually does, that is a contingency based on several factors, but one of the kind of plan C, if you will, contingency is that we would not have the new classroom addition available to us when the school year starts. And that is a possibility. It seems to be a growing one the more rain that we get. The reality is that may happen, but we will still be on the campus. We will be in the existing buildings. Let me say that we'll be cozy in the buildings. It's not something we want it to be permanent, but we can get inside the buildings. We will not need to use portables, anything like that, but should we have to use contingency, we'll do that. Dolly Ridge also this summer will have projects that will expand parking, as you know, to 175 parking spaces at least. an additional space for queuing cars, traffic and such. And so all that work is going to take place this summer in addition to a new playground. And so you can see some of the information I'm talking about. I don't think it's going to show up there, but the green buildings that are not rectangles are the existing buildings where we would house all of our students if the rectangle is not ready. The upper portion of this rendering on the left is where most of the parking will be and where the traffic car line will come in and come down to the front of the campus. And below the campus, you will see the location of the new playground. And this depiction on the far bottom right side shows you what our new playground is going to look like in concept. It's similar to what we put in Cava Heights, but a little bit larger. We also have a larger population, so we wanted to balance for that. So we're excited about when we get it. We'll be prepared if we don't. And that's the information on Valley Ridge. Berry campus is a bit of a different situation. Just for some context with you, I think all of us are aware that we've had a little bit of rain recently. It's, in fact, a tremendous amount. In the last 90 days, we're tracking at 10.71 inches above the average. And so when you put that into account of all the other days that make up the average, rainfall has been significant, and it has certainly slowed the project down. I would also tell you that when you do a renovation of this magnitude, and all of that red area that you see up there is renovated space. We are renovating over 100,000 square feet of space. That comes with it with an older building, a lot of challenges you inherently know you're going to get. And we started with some challenges on this building. We had some remediation that we did on mold early in the job, which was the right thing to do, of course. We made a decision in the fall that we needed to replace the entire roof on most of that red area, and that decision was in lieu of patching, but it was very evident once you started peeling back the layers, so to speak, of the roof that needed to be done. What we didn't want to happen is do all of our finishes below and have to come back in and replace the roof because it was leaking. So that was a decision made. And then the rain season started. It really started in earnest in November. We started losing days, I think maybe 5 days or so, is just construction days in November, if my memory serves me right. December, of that 10 inches I mentioned to you, over 6 of that was in December above normal, so we really started losing traction at that point. We felt like we were tracking okay in January, but we were concerned. So when you put renovations with a call to put on a new roof and the rain that has been dramatic, to say the least, it has made this campus not be able to finish on time. So what's going to happen on this campus is we will not occupy Berry in the fall. The Pizitz Middle School campus will remain on the campus it is on now. 6th through 8th graders will attend there to start the year. I'm calling this to be determined because we cannot accurately say yet when construction will be finished on the Berry campus. And that's, you know, we all want to know that, but we just don't know that. And until rain is finished, until we have roof placed and we can start more accurately handling what construction timelines can look like, we can make the call, and we will as soon as we're able to say when we would move over to the Berry campus. What that has is a ripple effect on the freshman campus, and so the decision is that we would not occupy the freshman campus at all next year. Once the freshmen start in August 2019 at the high school campus, they will finish the year at the high school campus. And that allows us a phasing that I think is more appropriate. If we move at some point during the school year, it would be difficult to do 2 moves. There's limited amounts of time to do that. I think there's a lot of complication with putting a freshman on a campus and then relocating them at some point during the year. There's a lot of things related to culture and building that high school experience for them that will be, I think, counterproductive. There are a lot of moving parts to handling a high school separation of this magnitude, so they would wait until August 2020 to be relocated. So our revised timelines look like this. We stay on track with K-5. We prepare for contingency at Valley Ridge, but we will be on that campus in the fall. The Zitz will stay on its current campus until it is determined when we can make the move there, and the freshmen will occupy their new campus in August 2020. Now, I've got everybody from the team here, so if you've got questions related to anything construction, I wanted to make sure we could answer those as best we could.
Do you guys, for Barry, do you guys see, or do you see any more oops or uh-ohs that you know through experience to look for that could pop up?
Once we get this roof on, we're gonna feel a lot better. This roof the rain significantly impacted the ability to get the roof on. And when you think
What's your
of,
expected time on that?
do what?
What's your expected time?
To finish the roof, we're looking at, conservatively, probably 90 days. We think we can get it sooner than that.
That'll be the critical point for us where we can make a call, I think.
Because once you get the roof on, you're basically all inside where weather becomes less.
Yes, on the renovation portion, which, you know, obviously is the large portion. Rain still would affect the gym, the band, the choir portions, but once we get the roof on, we control our own destiny a lot more on the project, whereas of right now, we're at the mercy of the rain.
And I should say, as a caveat to the question about the delay, the new areas, which include band and music and gymnasium, second gymnasium, we were prepared to occupy the campus without those, but not for a long time. There comes a point where a alternate location for band and choir is not productive to having a quality program, and having 1,200 plus kids have to work through one gym, we just don't want to do that very long. So all of those things were escalating to a point where we just, it's not the time to do it. So when you make a move like this, Vestavia Hills, these schools hasn't had one of these, we want to do it right. And I want to remind the board and those in the audience that when the purchases were made on Berry and Gresham, the strategic idea was that long-term we could handle population growth. We had a large population growth for several years there. We wanted to prepare for that continued growth. And so this is a long-term view, and it's best that we do it right. I think if we tried to push and get into Berry, first of all, I don't think it's even possible, but we would have gotten an unfinished product. But the purchases were still, I think, key acquisitions. They were very well thought out, a great part of the vision of handling the growth here. And I should also remind you that the savings inherent when you purchase campuses like this, it's hard to really put a value on it, but if I were to say right now, we are tracking at the Berry campus that if you purchase, let's say if you purchase the property on the Berry campus and you do all the work that we've done, we're still $10 million to the good if we would have had to go build a new building. And that doesn't even count having to go buy property to build a new building. At Gresham, currently our project there, including purchase of property, is about $14 million. Sean tells me to build one of those new buildings would cost $24 million. So that's a $10 million savings that we achieved by purchasing the property without, and that doesn't even count having to purchase property building even. So the acquisitions were the right thing to do, important thing to do, and we wanted to get to the finish line in August, but we're not going to. And I think it's the right thing because we will be able to move our kids in the way that I think is most beneficial. Once we're able to make a determination on the timeline, I can come back with more detail to you about what a move-in would look like and how we would provide the best possible way to make that happen for our faculty and for our students.
On the original time frame, we didn't have a lot of time in between when we would take possession of the Berry property and moving Pizzitz over. So we were going to move the 9th grade into Pizzitz, kind of absent any changes. This will give us an opportunity to do a little bit of cosmetic work to Pizzitz to prepare for the 9th grade.
It does, because Pizzitz looks like Pizzitz right now, and we need it to look like the freshman campus. And that's another reason of giving a whole delay. Gives us an entire summer at least to prep that campus.
So for our freshmen next year, so they're registering, so are we gonna try to keep them like they would be attending a 9th grade campus? What you're offering them stays the same, how they run their day stays the same, much like it would look at a different building? I know the scheduling and the lunch.
Schedule, we'll have to match more with what we do with the main campus now. But yes, as far as course offerings and curriculum, our plan is to do as much as we can to keep it as it would be if we were on the ninth grade campus, so that that transition is even easier in the next year. And pertaining to faculty who's doing what, the advisory process we still care about and want to do, and we think we can. So a few little things we're going to have to look at just in light of this, but for the most part, everything we delivered last week should be still in place. Yeah. So,
Just they just drive to a different place every day.
Yep.
And I think, Brendan, just for everyone else, because you and I discussed it, the kind of gating issue on the roof is that not only does it have to not be raining when we put the roof on, but it has to have not rained a few days before you put the roof on, correct?
Right, I mean, so even temporary patching of roof openings right now is difficult because of the rainy weather. They can't get a temporary patch to hold. So, you know, it's not just when it's not raining, we can be patching the roof or doing activities that progress. You need some time around there for drying off or blowing off the roof or prepping it for new roof activities that we're just not getting with this sporadic rainfall and heavy amounts of it.
Okay, all right, thank you. We'll move into our agenda items. Item 5, I would recommend the board approve the financial statement for January 2019.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation around the financial statements. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Any questions?
Courtney?
Good afternoon. In your board packet, you have the January 2019 financial statements and check register. I would like to point out a couple of things on the budget to actual comparison report for January. County payments for property taxes are still coming in slow like they were last year. Therefore, as of the end of January, we've only received 53% of our budgeted revenues versus 70% at this time last year. And our total expenditures compared to budget are in line with prior year at 35%. And I'm hoping in February, we're still tracking behind. I've already looked, and hopefully for March, we'll be caught up to at least 100% of what I've budgeted.
Yes.
And all board bank accounts have been reconciled through January 31st, 2019.
So we're still on projections, it's just a matter of distribution. That's
Yeah,
fine.
it's just, there's just a timing lag this year that we didn't have last year. So I know the city is seeing that as well.
Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Thank you. Under consent items, I recommend the board approve the consent items related to field trips and athletic competitions.
For the superintendent's recommendation on consent items, do you have a motion to approve?
So
Second? Questions?
I want to point out that in these consent items, that East and West both are requesting permission to attend Camp McDowell. That is a consistent thing that we would be doing, so I want to make sure that we point that out. That's something that we talked about, and they've had numerous conversations of it. It's on the agenda for us tonight.
We went to Wesley Woods. All in favor?
Item 7, under business. Item A, I recommend the board approve the memorandum of understanding with the city of Vestavia Hills as submitted.
For the superintendent's recommendation around the memorandum of understanding with the city of Vestavia, do we have a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
Commentary, questions?
If I may speak to this one just for a
Please
minute,
do.
there are a few pieces of this memorandum of understanding I want to make sure we point out with our working relationship with the city of Vestavia Hills. We asked them last month to begin to look at a shared use, and actually Jeff Downs has been working on this with us for several months of how we can look at our properties together. So the memorandum of understanding gives the intent or desire of both entities to plan and communicate between each other. As such, the following narrative is a comprehensive list of items. And I want to mention those to you. One item is that the city over the next 10 years would provide 25% of the cost of debt service on the $9 million that you approved last month for additional construction projects, and that roughly amounts to about $280,000 a year that they will cover. The school system agrees to construct 2 new ball fields, softball and baseball, at the Berry campus. That would likely begin in the fall this year. Another thing that we hopefully can get finished before we move in that campus. The city will collaborate to construct mutually acceptable pedestrian crossings at Wald Park and West Elementary School. Make sure we've got a safe passage there with the new community spaces layout. The city and the school system agreed to current property lines at Cava Heights adjacent to the city's rec facility do not represent current space, and so the school system and the city will resurvey and plat the new property lines. And what that means is that we would be looking at a property swap of Cava Heights where New Merkle House is, and some property that we have that sits adjacent to the library. We would be switching properties there that would allow the city to build a new Merkle House on that property. In exchange, we would be resurveying, platting this property where Wald Park is, and that includes behind us the chamber building and recreational facility, and that particular building and that whole piece of land would be exchanged to Vestavia City Schools. And so those are the intents that we have with this agreement. A couple other things to note on that is that the city and the school system would use a master schedule for recreational and athletic facilities and to develop a formal shared parking agreement. The shared use of facilities is an important piece. It's an exhibit in this MOU. Dr. Martin can answer questions about it if you'd like for him to, but the idea is that we want to lay out all the spaces that we're sharing, who has the priority to use them depending on who owns them, and how we would work together to continue to share them. We're adding a lot of new spaces with our work and the city's work, so it's important that we're all be on the same page with those facilities. So that's the essence of the memorandum.
Mr. Boone, all that good with you?
Yes, sir.
Any questions? Are we gonna go for new Merkle House? The really new?
It's a nice location, and I have to say that I like it from the school's perspective because we've got a great partnership with them. Alicia's been doing some really neat things with our fifth graders.
Yeah.
Going over to New Merkle, and it's probably a little better location to get them there outside the library, so that's a neat thing.
Very good. Any other questions, comments? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
All right, item B, recommend the board approve change order number 5 with Blaylock Building Company in the amount of $103,724 for renovations for new middle school, package B, building additions and renovations as submitted.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation on the change order. We have a motion to approve. Second?
Second.
And this is related to
Construction on the Berry campus,
Yeah.
miscellaneous things, sound system was one of the larger items in there that we want to provide for the school. But there are also just some typical things with walls and getting into the ground and relocating lines, things that I anticipate additional change orders coming from that project, but this is our latest iteration.
questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Item C, I recommend the board approve the bid from Armstrong Transfer and Storage Company Incorporated, Armstrong Relocation Company, in the amount of $99,896.47 for move management services as submitted.
Heard the superintendent's recommendation around moving services. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Commentary. This is to move
This
all
is,
the
it is to move
K-5,
all phases, yes.
or all phases?
Yes,
Okay.
this includes 3 separate moves. The first one would be the K-5 move this summer. The second one would be Pizitz to Berry to be announced. And the third would be the move for the freshman campus to Pizitz, which would be summer 2020. So the pricing in here is set for, and the contract that's the next on your agenda item is set to be the same through the course of all 3 of those moves.
That is correct, yes.
It's been important to me. I've mentioned it to Dr. Freeman several times, but just for the record, direct ask, it is important to me that, we don't have visions of our teachers loading up boxes of their personal effects in the back of their car and hauling them to another school and unloading them there. That with few adjustments, by and large, this will be they go home from one school, show up at another, pretty much ready to go, correct?
Portions of that, yes. Answer that as diplomatically as I possibly can. So what we will do in March, the principals and I on March 4th are going to go down and see the operation for Armstrong. And one of the things they pride themselves in is the labeling process. We will pack here for the K-5, we will pack up contents, and then we will walk away, and it'll be the responsibility of the move manager then to take that to the new school. So we will pack up the contents for classrooms, and that's teacher contents, but in terms of FFE, that'll be their responsibility.
We do have in the contract with the Berry move, the potential, we can ramp up as much as we need to with the move. You're talking about being able to just go. If we're crunched with time and they're needing to move, then the contract stipulates additional services that we provide that speaks to your point. How we would not burden our teachers with something like that.
And they refer to that as the magic move, where you just walk away and then walk in your new classroom, and it looks like the classroom you just stepped away from.
Gotcha.
And this locks them in, if they do K through 5 and realize we've made a mistake, they're still locked into this contract price. Okay.
Got it, thank you. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item D, I recommend the board approve the contract between Armstrong Transfer and Storage Company, Armstrong Relocation Company, and the board in the amount of $99,896.47 for move management services as submitted.
For the superintendent's recommendation for the contract, do a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
This is just execution of the contract at the prior item, correct?
It is. And it does include the language withholding the timeline in place and the additional move services that may be.
Section A of the contract.
Okay.
All in favor?
All right. Item 8, I recommend the board approve the personnel actions as submitted.
For the superintendent's recommendation on personnel, do we have a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Got it. All right, we have come to the moment for public comment. We would open the floor to anyone that would like to make a comment. We'd like to ask that they state their name and their address and limit their comments to agenda items if possible. Any public commentary?
My name is Kimberly Cook, and I live at 4487 Galen Road. Thank you for allowing me to address the board. I'm going to pull a little bit of a Mr. Boone. I might take a couple of minutes more than my allotted time, but I just wanted to make a brief statement on behalf of the council about the memorandum of understanding that you guys approved. Thank you for doing that. At our meeting in just a few minutes, the council is going to do the very same thing. I anticipate that we will also approve our part of that bargain, and I wanted to share a couple of thoughts. The council and the board are partners in providing services to our citizens. And while we're separate entities, as government entities, we are separate. Historically, we have enjoyed a very familial relationship. We are family. Like any family, we have tensions from time to time. And looking back to a time before my tenure, there was Rebel Man. Oh goodness. It was a tough time. I was not on the council at the time, so I watched from the bleachers. And at the time, I was glad that I was not on either the council or the board, because it was a tough time. Following Rebel Man, there was an election, and one of the primary issues of the campaign that I heard, whether it was openly voiced or not, was the relationship between the council and the board. I clearly understood from the folks who elected me that one thing that they wanted was a board of education that would, that would listen to them. So what does that mean exactly? To me, it means appointing board members that ask questions, board members that listen. Fast forward to today, this council has appointed 2 board members, and we're getting very close to our 3rd appointment. We've had 3 superintendents in 18 months. I think that's been mentioned before. We have some new central office staff, and we have some staff that have been here for a long time, some 4 superintendents or more. Change occurs and the family changes, and that's why I believe that this memorandum of understanding is very important, and I think it will make for better relationships to have that. I think Mr. Boone would agree. As an attorney, my husband's an attorney, that contracts make for good relationships. As I have served the city as the board liaison, I have attended your meetings. I've attended PTO events. I see many of you there as well. I've been a leader in the PTOs at 4 of our schools. I'm an annual sponsor of the foundation. I partner with the school system and community groups to support efforts like Help the Hills and Safe Walk to School. Most importantly, when our council considered the sales tax increase, I made sure that we set aside 1/4 of that for the future use of our schools. That money will help pay the debt service for your capital loan, to put a bow on your facilities improvement plan. It's a plan that has taken a large part of the discretionary capital reserves that have been set aside for many years. They've been saved. The city is going to give the board $280,000 per year for 10 years. That's a total of $2.8 million. And it is a privilege for the council and the city to be able to do that for our schools, because they're our schools, yours, ours, they're everyone's. In the same way, our school system supports the city, so I want to thank you for what you do. The good work that you and the central office staff do, it adds value to our city and it serves our children. So I want to thank you for the time that you invest in that. What is important is family. We succeed together or we sink together. My council partners have asked me to be your liaison, and so I'm here tonight to thank you for approving the memorandum. I think that this agreement has benefits for both the city and the school board. And I want to thank Dr. Freeman for his efforts to put it together, working with our city leaders. Moving forward, I want to encourage the central office staff, Todd, all of his helpers, to include the city in your discussions. We want to be your partners, and we want to fully understand the goals of the system so that we can better support what you're doing. I speak for the rest of the council when I say that we want nothing more than for our school system to be the very best in the state, and I know that we can get there. My cohorts have asked me to let you know that I'm available to help in any way, and as our system goes through accreditation, as we go through long-term planning, or anything else that in which the city's cooperation with the school system would be helpful, I'm available and I would love to help. In closing, on behalf of the council, once again, thank you for approving this agreement. I think it would be a great thing for both the school board and the city, and that's all I wanted to share. So thank you for listening.
Anyone else?
I got one thing to say. One of Tyler's own, speaking to the Fine Arts Department, alum of Vestavia, Walker Burroughs, is going to be on American Idol coming up. So that's a big deal, and he is a very talented young man. So you guys tune in and vote
When
for
does that
Walker.
start?
He's doing a concert too.
Yeah, he's doing a Rise
isn't he?
concert coming up, so March 9th, I think, Tyler. So he'll be here, but right now he can't say anything about how far he's gone or if he was got a golden ticket or not. So anyway, everybody support Walker. So.
That's good. It's almost like yeah.
He gets like unreachable.
It's that first, there was that first season when, or second season when Taylor Hicks was on there and everybody thought I was him in the grocery store. So, I've had my own American Idol experience. There being nothing else, we're adjourned. Thank you.